Good day, everyone. I'm Mark David Buar, and I'm the second part of review of related literature. And before watching my video presentation, please watch Miss Katrina Kobilan's presentation first before watching mine. And without further ado, let us start. First, we have patterns of citation. So we have four patterns of citation. Let's start with these two: summary and paraphrase. Summary. What is summary? So a summary is when you take the original text, shorten it, and keeping only the main ideas. You still use your own words, but the focus is on making the text more concise. Next is paraphrase. What is paraphrase? Paraphrase is different from a summary because instead of shortening the text, you restate the original idea fully, but in your own words. No, now that is the difference between two. For the third one, we have short and direct quotation. So this type of citation is used when you copy the author's exact words, but the quotation should not exceed 40 words. It can be just a part of the author's sentence, the whole sentence, or even several short sentences. Because you are directly using the author's exact words, you must also note that you provide the page number where those words can be found. So here is an example of a short direct. Here, let me read it for you. Context is influenced by these four factors: language, culture, institutions, and ideologies. Now, notice that the example used quotation marks included the author's name and the year, and also the page number where the exact words can be found. Now, let's move on to number four, the pattern, the long direct quotation or block quotation or extract. So this type of citation is used when you copy the author's exact words, no, that are more than 40. And in APA style, the limit is only about 8 lines of text. So unlike short quotations, long quotations are not enclosed in quotation marks, as they are written in separate indented block of text. So the author's name, year of publication, and page number must still be included, just like in the short direct quotation. And that's the difference between two, and that's all of the patterns of citation. Now let's move on to the ways of citing literature. Ways of citing literature. So first we have by author or by writer. So first by author, this style highlights the researcher who made the study. For example, in a sentence, according to Philippi 2015. So this sentence or this um citation focuses more on the author because it started with according to Philippi. So Philippi is the starting um, uh, word. That's why it's called by author or by writer because the highlighted here is the author. Second is by topic. So this style, the emphasis is on the topic or the idea or the result of a study rather than the person. That's why here in this example, it has been found out. Then open close parenthesis, Felipe 2015. So the first, as you can see, is the idea and then followed by Felipe 2015. Third is by chronology. So by chronology is uh, it arranges the citations according to the year they were studied and published, usually from the earliest to the most recent. So here is the example to not be confused. So let me read it for you. In 2010, Felipe explained that student motivation is essential for academic success. 5 years later, Cruz 2015 highlighted the role of technology in improving motivation. More recently, Santos 2021 showed that blended learning strategies are effective in sustaining motivation. So as you can see, it is a successive from uh, the older one to the most latest research, no, in 2010, 2015, up to 2021. Now, those are the four ways of citing a literature. How to cite in the review of related literature. So, first, if we have one author, so if we have a work or an article of one author that we want to use in our research, here's how we can do it. So you need to mention the who made the work, and then just put the year of publication. Where when was the work was published? Just like here, Amante 2001 mentioned, and then the following. So that's only one example, and here's another example. So if you give both date and author in your sentences, you don't need a citation. For example, here in a 2001 study at IRIST, Sabas addressed this problem. So if you put another citation, it would be redundant as they are already mentioned. No, who and when. So as you can see, IRIST and 2001. No, so you don't need to put a citation. Now, if you give neither in your sentence, or you don't mention someone in your sentence, so you must give both in parentheses. So just like in this example, so Pena, comma 2010 open close parentheses showed, and then the following ideas. And here's another example. Recent studies highlight the importance of reading strategies in language learning. As you can see, there is no mention of who said these words. That's why they put Cruz 2018 in open close parentheses at the end of the sentence, or to end the sentence. Now, if the work has two authors, no, you just need to give both of the author's name every time the work is cited, just like here. Carino and Sonyo 2007 mentioned that. So it is very simple. You just need to mention the two names of the authors. If it's only two, so put the parentheses and the year of published, where it when it was published. Now, how about if it's a work of six or more authors? So it's simple as this. Give only the last name of the first author followed by al, that represents others. So for example, Peña et al. 2010 mentioned that. So as easy as that. You just you don't need to mention any of their names or all of their names in your work or your paper anymore. No, you just need or simply need to put the first researcher that is in the published work. If it's a work without an author for this situation, you don't cite the person's name. Instead, you use the first part of the reference entry, and this is usually calls as the title of the work. And you also include the year of publication. For example, when research is completed in a timely manner, student grades are better. So as you can see here, parenthesis, how to succeed. So how to succeed, that is the title of the work. You need to put a quotation mark and then the year it was published. So that's how you cite a work without an author. And lastly, if it's a legal act in the year. For example here, Higher Education Act of 1994. So now how about if you are mentioning a law in your paper or in your RL? So simple, you can just give the name of the act in the year. So in this case, you simply give the name, the act of the year when it was enacted. So for example, Higher Act Education of 1984. So this style is used when referring to laws, policies, or government acts so that readers can easily identify the exact legal basis being cited. So just put the name of the public act, the law, or executive order, then followed by the date it was enacted. Now, why all of these are examples? Why do we need to cite properly the works of these authors? No, it is to avoid plagiarism. Why we need to avoid plagiarism? We need to avoid plagiarism because it shows cheating and it shows dishonesty. It also disrespects the original author's work. So by avoiding plagiarism, we'll learn better. We gain trust and we show integrity to our work as researchers, future researchers, and future teachers. So that is everything in my in our part. and hopefully you learned something today. Thank you.